Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nick for the New England Weatherlife.ning.com with the, let's see, Monday afternoon update. Of course, all eyes on the storm, and this is the afternoon update. Now, it's been a little further northward suppressed than we thought. We're seeing the heavy snow wrapping all the way into central Ohio, really, and you've also got another head of snow that continues to move through Pennsylvania. Earlier, we were thinking that the snow might only come all the way to Cincinnati, and so earlier we were also thinking that southern New England would be the primary target, but now northern New England is also under the gun. I'll get to that in a bit later. Now, NWS, of course, issuing their traditional winter weather advisories and winter storm watches and warnings. They've got winter weather advisories up for the southern counties of Connecticut. They probably won't see winter storm warnings because it's only going to be a slushy inch or two before they change over to rain. They've also got it up for Litchfield County. And then it's winter storm watches up for most of interior southern New England and most of central and northern New England. And that's where they can expect over 6 inches of snowfall. That seems likely. These should be upgraded to winter storm warnings within a couple of hours. So, the model view of things is basically, let's take you to what I've been looking at, and this is the Wharf NMM, which is one of my favorite models, especially for short-range storms. And what you notice is we're fine all day today, but by the time we get into midnight tonight, you've got plenty of energy spinning itself back into the Ohio Valley. That's going to be becoming an issue for later on Tuesday, and then you've got your first slug that's coming through Jersey. And then by the time you get to 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, you got the heavy stuff that's coming through interior southern New England. While at the same time, warm air is getting forced back in with all this slug of warm air coming off the Atlantic. So that's changing it to rain all the way to the canal. And then by the time you get to the mid-morning, heavy snow. Once you get north of about Brockton, Mass. It's also heavy snow through interior central New England, interior southern New England, and Rockingham County beginning to become an interest. This is basically a 2 to 4 hour band of heavy snow that moves through during the morning hours between about, I'd say, 6 and 10 a.m. So you can see how in the next frame it's really just wrapping itself into a nor'easter. We're beginning to take a break through much of southern New England, but in northern New England and central New England, the storm's getting its groove on. We've got the heaviest stuff, which is placed in a red band over interior Rockingham County, which will probably end up being the jackpot for the storm. By the time the next frame rolls around, you can see how we've seen some big changes. First of all, the storm, it's still snowing pretty heavily at times through northern New England, yet at the same time, you've got your heaviest bands coming up the Maine coast. While at the same time, you also have your a little bit of a break is over for most of southern New England. You still got some light to moderate bands wrapping back in, and then by the time you get to Wednesday morning, you're pretty much done with everything. So in terms of accumulations, things could really run the gamut here, but we have a much better idea of things based on the 12 and 18Z runs that have come in. The Wharf model, one of my favorites, the one you were just looking at, that was a 6-hour precip, which is good for like future casts. Total precip, let's see what we're cranking here. This is on the forecast, 0.25 for just about everybody. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take it into paint, because what I want to do here is I don't want people to get on the Cape to see that they're going to see 6 inches. So I'm going to draw north of this line. This map should verify. However, south of this line is going to be mostly rain. Alright, north of this line is what we're concentrating on here. Okay, so first shade of green, that's 0.25, that's about 3 inches of snow. Your next shade of green is this stuff that extends through most of central New England. A lot of eastern Mass, north of the Pike. Maybe Boston, we'll have to see, that's about 6 inches. And then you've got over most of southern New Hampshire, southeast New Hampshire, especially even central New Hampshire, as well as far southern Maine, Saco and Biddeford, Maine. As well as once you get through Metro West and Merrimack Valley, that's where you're talking about 8 inches. And then what do you know? You've got about 1.0 that's being cranked out from about Saco, Maine, down to Essex County, Massachusetts. Will that verify? Well, we'll have to see, but that would be indicative of a foot of snow. Could people see over a foot of snow? Well, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but it's probably unlikely. The reason why I don't think these folks are going to see a foot of snow is because I actually got to redraw the rain-snow line, because the rain-snow line is probably going to set up more like this. And there you go. And so that's basically mostly interior southern New England, so probably not Essex County. So you look at all this data, and I've forged it all into your mind. Now it's time for the final accumulations map. This was I made this right before I went out at like 1 p.m. and this was as the 12Zs and 18Zs were coming in. So here you go. Let's zoom this map back out for a second. You were talking about 1 to 3 far northern New England, 3 to 6 on the band up the Maine coast, 4 to 8 interior Maine coast, 2 to 4 southeast Mass, nothing on Cape Cod, 2 to 4 most of southwest Connecticut, interior Fairfield, closer to 3-4 interior Fairfield, and then around 2 or 3 for the south coast of Connecticut, same deal Rhode Island. While at the same time, you've also got 3 to 6 extending through a lot of southern and central New England, and then it's a solid 4 to 8 through central New England and interior southern New England, interior Maine coast, however still keeping it south and east of the Maine Turnpike. And then you've got your jackpot area, so to speak, right through southeast New Hampshire, outside of, well, probably outside of 495, but maybe even outside of 128. And that's where you're talking about 8 to 12 plus. There's the possibility that you might even see a 14 or 15 inch amount, and that would probably most likely be found right around here in interior Rockingham County. And again, Essex County, 3 to 6 inches, not a foot for them. Alright, that's my current thinking. See you guys later. This is Nick for the New England Weatherlife.ning.com.